Welcome to Sealed, Guilds of Ravnica. So I went to the Ravnica pre-release and there was a free Magic the Gathering Arena sealed event pre-release code on the back of one of my tokens, so I figured this would be a good opportunity for me to get Arena fired up this weekend and go for a Guilds of Ravnica sealed draft event. So, not draft event, but a sealed event. So anyway, that's what we're doing today. Let's have some fun. Let's go for the ticket entry and see what sort of packs we open up. And I've been playing Arena this weekend, and it's been really nice. So we've got some pretty good stuff. Temple Garden, Risk Factor. Oh, Temple Garden with the Mara. Should be pretty nice. We'll see what else we kind of rip into. Oh, excuse me. Those were all the rares that we opened out of this pack. So let's go and get this sorted again. So let's sort it by rare. So this is basically what we cracked. We've got Overgrown Tomb, Temple Garden, and Guild Mage's Form, which is not too bad. Let's check out and Risk Factor, so we could kind of... Let's see what sort of Guild Gates we got. I'm still learning it. So we got a couple Guild Gates, Boros Guild Gate. So we've actually... I love playing like 3-color decks sometimes, so let's see what else we kind of cracked into. Let's turn the land off. Let's check out what some of our rares were. That's going to be Temple Garden. Let's check out some of our uncommons. So a little bit, unfortunately, a little bit heavy. There we go. A little bit heavy. Okay, there we go. Sorry for a second. I had the lands pulled up, and I was like, wow, how can we not see what we pulled? So let's check out, yeah, it's going to be Risk Factor. I was going to check out our uncommons that we pulled out of here. If anything that's kind of speaking to us. Dimir Spybug, which I played against Dimir Spybug in my pre-release, and that was... some pretty solid stuff. So we've got Glowspore Shaman. We've got some pretty cool, I might be able to kind of build some sort of, let's see what sort of green-white options we do have, actually, now that I think about it. That's going to be the best thing that we can get going. And 2 other creatures attack, it's going to be a token, a Healer's Hawk. I'm thinking with the Mara and it's having access to Temple Garden, we should... Probably sticking. Yeah, we've got Generous Stray, which is going to be some really good card advantage too. The Siege Worm with Convoke. Could almost kind of go for a Boros deck now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I'd like doing that. Let's go for that. Let's kind of start off with some sort of Boros deck or some sort of Naya deck and kind of see where that takes us. Let's go and get down, get the Centaur. It's going to be full forward Vigilance. Alright, so I have our deck put together. Sorry about that. I was trying to, it's the first time I've done a sealed event. I was trying to add stuff to the deck and I couldn't. I was just having trouble making sure I've got everything I want in here. So we've got a pretty good little Naya deck assembled so far. We've got some pretty good 1-drops. We've got Marshall, which is going to allow us to swing in and attack and get some of those soldier tokens going. Hawk's always nice to have with lifelink. Have a couple different ways to make sure we can swing across. A Demotion and then Righteous Blow. Prey Upon. Got some good 1-drops, Goblin Caretaker, Legion Guild Mage, Amara. Blade Instructor is going to have that Mentor ability, which will work out great with stuff like Healer's Hawk. Since we are playing 3 colors, we did open up a District Guide, which is going to help us at least hopefully get one of our guild, the Boros Guild Gate on the battlefield. Luminous Bonds, which is a wonderful enchantment. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. We did open Risk Factor, which is a lot of fun. 4 damage, where we get to draw 3 cards, and we can jumpstart it out of the graveyard. We have 2 Direct Currents, which is going to be 2 damage to any creature. Have a little bit of ramp in Selesnya Locket. Generous Stray, which is the cat token. At my pre-release, I had opened up like 3 cat Generous Stays, and so every time I play Generous Stray, I'd be like, cat. I'd just point it, to see if the spell would resolve. My opponent's like, yes, it does resolve. All right, so we have 2 Hammer Droppers, which is going to be some good way for us to kind of put some pressure on our opponent. And then Integrity, got a couple different split cards, and then we do have at least, I think, 1 gate in here, so we can get that double strike going. And then a couple big payoff Convoke creatures. So, should be a fun kind of low to the ground deck. As far as the rest of the stuff that we did open, we might have been able to kind of build some sort of Surveil deck. We did have Enhanced Surveillance, that way we can get some extra Surveil going. But, if we had opened up a couple different Dimir Spybugs or something like that, we did have 2 Dead Weights, but it just wasn't thrilled about going into Dimir. Another thing that we could have done would have been Grixis, but... looking at what we've got Notion Rain, Night Veil Predator, Beam Splitter. That could have been built a Grixis deck, but I kind of want, typically Naya colors are colors that I normally don't play at a pre-release, so I'm kind of forcing myself to kind of get into that. And yeah, I felt that Naya would have been the best thing to go, so I was going to get the seal deck. Let's go Naya Risk Factor. I like that. name it that. I'm going to click done. Now, one of the cool things about Arena is that you basically just kind of keep playing, I think, until you get a couple losses. So the further we go, the more packs or the more gems that we can get. So let's go and hop into the game and then see what sort of opponent we get to play against. Okay, so we're playing against Saya. I think that's how you say it. We'll figure it out if that's the correct pronunciation or not. Uh-oh. Got the remix in our hand. So we have Marshall. I'm really tempted to... this is a really clunky hand. So we get on Marshall, and that's just a 1-drop. Yeah, I'm not... Let's go to Mulligan. I'm not super wild about that. Yeah, we can keep on this. I don't really want to go past that. Hopefully we get... Well, it's going to keep us off of Mara for a long time. That does put us in a position where we'll go for risk factor if we get lucky. Yeah, let's go ahead and keep on this and get the Scry. We'll definitely put that on top of our library because that'll at least allow us to kind of get down the Legion, and then we'll see what we're up against. But yeah, this is really nice. I've been playing Arena the entire weekend, and they do have a singleton format, which has been pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get down Mountain. Yeah, and then we get down Plains for next turn, and we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. But it's pretty cool, you know, there's little things like Pilfering Imp that, you know, it has flying. You can see the little card flying up. Oh, there we go. Hit the land drop. Okay, let's go and get down Plains, and then we'll go and go for Legion Guild. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, go lead off Leading Guild Mage. Get that down. We'll go and pass turn to our opponent. Yeah, just realized we could have... No, we had double Mountain that turn, so we did draw into play. Yeah, Plains was the Scry. I was thinking that we should have gotten down Marshall, but I think when I put that on top of my library, somehow I just got mixed up with that. So we probably could have sequenced that just a little bit differently. Yeah, it's kind of... It's weird playing Magic on Arena. I enjoy it, but it's a little hard to kind of get used to it sometimes. So opponent's going to get on the Cyclops. And we draw into an additional Plains. Let's go and get down Forest. And yeah, let's go to get down Amara. I think I like that. So we can go for Marshall next turn. That'll allow us to go for Browbeat. Do we want to swing in for 2? No. We'll just go and pass the turn to our opponent. So hopefully we can kind of build up this board state. And if we can get some sort of card going with risk factor to where we can get that jump start going, and maybe we can put some pretty quick damage on our opponent. Maybe they're going to be aggressive with Piston Fist Cyclops and that Putering Imp, and that allows us at least to get another token on the battlefield with Amara. Our current opponent did sacrifice the Imp, choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card, activate this ability. Only you can do a sorcery. So, a way to reveal our hand. More than likely, they're going to take risk factor because that's the. Well, we'll see. Actually, yeah, they'll probably end up taking risk factor. But the cool thing about them discarding that is that we can still cast it out of the graveyard by using that jump start. So we'll probably try to go for that next turn. Okay, so we draw into Goblin Caretaker. Yeah, let's go and get the Plains down. Let's go and get down Marshall for 1 white. Yeah, you know, let's go and go for risk factor. We can get rid of that Mountain. Yeah, because that's going to at least force them to take 4 damage. Okay, so we're going to jumpstart risk factor, see if they want to allow us to draw 3 cards. More than likely it's going to be 4 damage, but if we do get 3 cards, I'll definitely take it. Okay, it's going to put them down to 16, and then anything else, we're going to just pass the turn to our opponent. So we're kind of sitting in this little bit of a holding pattern. If we can somehow get one of our enchantment pieces to put it onto Piston Fist Cyclops, that will allow us to hopefully start swinging with Amara and get some of those tokens going. Now, we do have some of our bigger beater creatures that do have the Convoke, so that's something that we can, if we get a few, oh, there we go, draw into Siege Worm. About to say, we can actually still go and tap down Siege Worm, and that's going to have Trample. Yeah, let's go and go for that. Okay, get down Siege Worm. That also gives us another token off of Amara, which is working out perfectly. And then we can also finally kind of start pushing in with a Siege Worm. That's going to be a 5/5 with Trample. And hopefully we can kind of push past this Piston Fist Cyclops. Now, as long as they cast instant or sorcery, you can attack as though they didn't have Defender. And then with Rampaging Monument, whenever you cast a multicolored spell, put a +1 counter on it. So we do have to watch out for the double block, but... Oh no! That was brutal. Ritual of Soot. Destroy all creatures with mana cost 3. Oh no. Okay. Oh man, that was bad. I was going to get down Plains. Yeah, let's just go and start pushing in on our opponent. Gotta do something. Let's get down Siege Worm. Let's go for Goblin Caretaker. And then anything else, no, we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. So at least we can still go and put some pressure on them. Thankfully, with us sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're still looking at about 7 total Convoke, with at least the 2 creatures on the battlefield and the 5 lands. But that was that Ritual of Suit was brutal, especially when you got just a deck like what we've got going on. That was pretty rough. So let's see our opponent's going to get going for the turn. Okay, opponent's going to go for Dead Weight on our Siege Worm. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. So Siege Worm's going to turn into Dead Weight. Thankfully, with Goblin Caretaker, we can actually go for the activation off Rampaging Monument. Since that is a colorless non-land permanent, we can at least still kind of take care of that. And then, even if it turns into a 4/4, that's perfectly fine because we can still, basically, it's just a colorless permanent. Alright, so we draw into Forest. Let's go and go for a Goblin Caretaker activation. That way we can still push in with Siege Worm. Let's go and push in with the Siege Worm for a 3/3. Now with the House Guild Mage, and at this point right now, since we kind of know we've already hit our mana curve, we're just going to go ahead and hold on to at least 1 card in our hand. I like to hold on to a Forest, and if we need to get it down next turn, we can. I always like to keep our opponent at least kind of guessing what we've got going on. Now with the House Guild Mage, target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. That will allow them to tap down Siege Worm. But thankfully we're able to get in a little bit of damage to put them down to 5. But let's see how they decide to sequence this turn. Okay, so we got Watcher in the Mist, enters the battlefield, Surveil for 2. And apparently, I think they left both on top. Ooh, drawn to Luminous Bonds. Okay, so let's go ahead and go for Luminous Bonds onto Watcher in the Mist. Yeah, it can't attack or block. Let's go to combat. Let's go and swing in for 3. Going to put them down to 5. And then, yeah, we're still going to go and hold on to this Forest card. So we'll just go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, thankfully, the Luminous Bonds, we're going to be able to keep that Watcher in the Mist on lockdown, at least at this point right now, and force them to start going for the House Guild Mage activations of tapping down Siege Worm. Now, if we do draw into another Luminous Bonds, uh-oh. We got Duplicate, which is going to be a copy of Watcher in the Mist. That's actually work. Oh, that is some good stuff right there. And they can still jumpstart it again too. Let's see if they have enough mana. No, they already hit double blue. But at least next turn they're looking at jumpstarting Watcher in the Mist again. All right, so draw into Plains. It's going to get down Forest. And unfortunately, with us sitting at a 3/3, it's just going to get eaten up by a Watcher in the Mist. So let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. But the thing about Arena is it's pretty fun. I've enjoyed playing it so far. It makes for, like, I can definitely see where Magic the Gathering Online is going to have a staying place. You know, maybe one day they get all the cards on Arena, but at least at this point right now, having access to just like a full modern format, Commander format for Magic the Gathering Online, I still enjoy that, and it's still pretty fun to play this too. All right, so we get Arboretum Elemental, Convoke, and Hexproof. So it's going to be 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So unfortunately, we're going to be 1 away. So let's go and get down Plains. And we can't cast that. So yeah, let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now if we do hit the land drop, that'll put us in a position where we can't get down Elemental. It will have Hexproof, but it doesn't have Trample, which doesn't really help us against this entire board state. And they still have Duplicate out of the graveyard if they want to go for a jump start too. So that's something that they can definitely make a copy of the Night Veil Predator, which are going to be flying Deck Touch and Hexproof. And drawn to Selesnya Locket. Yeah, let's go and get down Locket, because that's going to put us... Make sure we tap this correctly, because we need at least 1, 2... Let's go and draw 2 cards. And then Generous Stray, and then Direct Current. So we're going to do no attackers on this. And our opponent is holding back at this point right now, so if they wanted to be aggressive, they could start pushing in on us to hopefully kind of deal a little bit of damage to us. To give them the Doser of Lights. And then we draw into District Guide, which is not going to do much. We can't get down Generous Stray, so let's see. Get some card draw going. Draw into Sergeant. And then we go District Guide, but that's not going to be able to do anything. We're not going to be able to stop it in the air because it's going to be 3/6. And then the Night Veil Predator, yeah. Good game to our opponent. We're going to go and scoop this one up. So unfortunately, we're going to take a loss on our first match, but... that's the way it goes. That board wipe was just absolutely brutal. If we didn't get hit with that board wipe, I think we could have potentially kind of maybe stabilized from there. But we'll go and ship this one over to Game 2, and then, yeah, see you in Game 2. Welcome back to Game 2. So hopefully do a little bit better than Round 1. We can get a few of these packs and some gems and stuff. But also, I do apologize if Game 1 was a little... seemed like I was out of my element or I missed some stuff. 100%. The volume was so... I was recording Magic Arena with the desktop audio through the video, and the audio was so insanely loud inside of my headset that it was just really hard for me to concentrate. And since we were mid-game, I did not want to downsize and adjust the volume bar. I have 2 monitors, but I don't know why that you can't adjust the volume on the second monitor. But let's wait for our opponent, and then I'll kind of talk about that. Okay, so we're getting ready for Game 2. We're playing against Astrid, which should be a fun matchup. We're playing against Vivian. You call that? Yeah, but the volume was just so insanely loud that it was hard for me to kind of get into commentary. Oh, triple planes. That is yucky. Let's go to Mulligan. And then, yeah, we can keep on this one. Unfortunately, we don't have red for that, but I don't really want to go past 3. So we'll go and keep on this one. Then hopefully we'll get lucky, get the Scry, the Scurry, the Fever, and the Insanity. We'll hopefully have something good on top of our library. And we're going to keep on this one. Scry District, yes, that's perfect. We'll put that definitely on top. That'll allow us to grab our red-white guild gate. So we'll go and leave that on top. Click done. Let's go and lead off with the plains. That way, if we need to go for demotion or something like that, we're going to kick it over to our opponent. But yeah, I've enjoyed my time with Arena so far. It's been a pretty cool little format. I'm excited they have a singleton format, which is I'm going to start recording for, hopefully sometime soon. I'm not entirely sure what the release schedule is, but let's go and get down... should get down a green source, get down forest. But as far as I think Arena does have singleton, it's kind of like Brawl without the commander. Gonna have like, get out of here, bug, get out. Yeah, go and get. But yeah, there's. I always like kicking that bug off. I don't want him off the screen. But yeah, it's basically like Brawl without the commander. But it's still pretty cool. And I've been playing a little bit of it. It's interesting. Let's go and get down plains. Let's go and go for District Guide. Let's go and get ourselves a red source. I think that sounds like a pretty good idea. And then, yes, we definitely want to take action on that. And where are we? Boros Guildgate. All right, it's going to come into play tapped. Or, no, excuse me, it goes into our hand, and then we'll get it down next turn. Either way, we're still going to be okay, because we're going to be able to get down Marshall, and then once we get down Guildgate, that'll allow us to get down Hammer Dropper, and start getting some of that Boros action going on our opponent. I don't know, I did open Hammer Dropper during one of my pre-releases, but I didn't have enough of a good kind of Boros cards to run red, white in there, but I really enjoy the hammer dropper. I can just really imagine that hammer coming down on our opponent's creatures. But yeah, so as far as what we've got going, they do have Runaway Steam Kiln. Whenever they cast a red spell, they're going to be able to get those counters on there, and they can remove them to add some mana to their mana pool. If we need to, we can use Demotion to kind of make sure that Steam Kiln can't block if we get a good enough board state going. We'll see what else they get down on the battlefield. Pass Wall Adept, that's actually a really good card in my pre-release. Was kind of late game, giving target creature the ability to be unblockable is a really nice ability. Let's go and get down Boros Guildgate. Yeah, because we need to get a red source down, and then let's go ahead and go for Generous Stray. That's going to allow us to get some good card draw going. Cat token, thank you, Cat. And then we draw into Blade Instructor. Yeah, no, we'll just go ahead and pass the turn. We're looking at a 1-1 and a 1-3. Yeah, we'll just go on, no attackers. We'll just go and pass the turn. I was thinking about swinging in with District Guide, but then they've got the 1-3 with the Pass Wall Adept, and wouldn't do us any good. We can't really block with that one. So next turn we are looking at 4 total mana. Once we get down to Hammer Dropper, it does have Mentor ability, so that's going to allow us to get a few more counters on District Guide and Generous Stray. So we can get that, and then Surveil has Death Touch, and when you deal damage, draw a card. Alright, so we do not have a land drop to make. Let's try to swarm the board with as many creatures as possible. I think that'd be a little bit better than going for a Hammer Dropper. So let's go and get down Blade Instructor. And let's go and get down Marshall. And then we'll just go and pass the turn at this point right now. Because what we want to do is, since we do have Demotion, we'll wait for our opponent to kind of build up their board state. And then especially with Blade Instructor, using that Mentor ability, we can put a +1 counter on one of our creatures. And that also, with the unblockable ability, we can use that Pass Wall Adept. Or if we want to put it on Darkblade Agent, we'll see how we want to put Demotion on there. But at least it'll kind of take away one of those blockers and allow us to kind of start swinging in on our opponent. Now, if we do want to kind of just wait it out, getting down something like Hammer Dropper to get that additional Mentor trigger going, that'll definitely allow us to kind of get a really nice kind of power swing on our opponent. And if we want to, we can actually get down Goblin Caretaker, deals 2 damage to target creature. So if we're worried about, if we want to go for Demotion on Darkblade and then use Goblin Caretaker on Runaway Steam Kiln, that'll be another way for us to at least dwindle down some of those creatures on the battlefield. Now, the good thing about Goblin Caretaker is that it is a 1-mana activation, so we can get that down next turn and blast and go for Demotion. So if we don't hit the land drop and we don't want to get on Hammer Dropper, that does put us in a position to hopefully kind of get a nice little swing in on our opponent. Okay, our opponent's going to go for a Pass Wall activation, I think on Darkblade Agent, if I'm correct. And they are going to go for Dead Weight on our... Oh, unfortunately, our Blade Instructor. Oh, poor buddy. Get out of here, bug. Get. Okay, they will be swinging in for 2, knock us down to 18, and we draw into Luminous Bonds. So like I mentioned, we have Goblin Caretaker. Unfortunately, that get rid of all of our Mentor triggers, or all of our Mentor creatures. So if we want to make sure we can kind of set up Mentor, we can go for that Hammer Dropper for next turn and kind of go what I was talking about. And especially with Luminous Bonds, it makes it a little bit easier for us to kind of get some stuff. We are at 18, so we're not really under any super pressure from our opponent. So I feel a little bit better getting down some sort of Mentor creature on the battlefield. And then, yeah, let's just go and... So with the Marshal, we'll get a token on the battlefield, but I don't really want to trade at this point right now. So yeah, let's just go ahead and no attackers. We'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. And then next turn, we'll go for Bonds into Motion. Alright, so opponent's going to get down Swamp, and thankfully they don't really have a lot of activations going on the Runaway Steam. They do have 3 cards in the hand with 1, 2, 3. They have 6 total mana available, so we'll see what they're going to be able to get down as far as those +1 counters going. Hypothesis will draw 2 cards, and then you discard, deals 4 damage to target creature. So let's see which creature they're going to target off of this. More than likely, we'll see it on the Hammer Dropper. Oh, yep. Okay, we're going to take care of Hammer Dropper. That leaves us with a Cat, a District Guide, and a Marshal. And then if we don't hit the land drop, we're definitely going to need to start swinging in on our opponent, because if they're playing Grixis and they have some card advantage, we definitely want to be able to start putting some pressure on them, because sitting back and not doing anything is not really going to help us. Okay, so we draw into Mountain. Let's go and get down Mountain. So at this point right now, if we go for Goblin Crater Maker... Yeah, let's do it like this. So let's tap down. We have no green that we need to tap down for. So let's tap down Forest, and we'll tap down 1 mountain. Get down Goblin Crater Maker. Okay, and this is going to be a 2/2, and then we get down Luminous Bonds on Runaway Steam, which will basically negate that. Actually, if we do it this way, so we get demotion on pass wall, they can't get that activated ability. And then we can do, yeah, let's do the 2 damage to run away. And let's go for demotion on Darkblade Agent. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and push in with District Guide. Now they will block with end up blocking with pass wall to death, but maybe we could get in for 2 if they're worried about some sort of combat trick or something like that. But at least next turn that's going to put us online for Luminous Bonds to put it on pass wall adept. And then next turn that allows us to really kind of start swinging in on our opponent. That puts our opponent in a position with Darkblade Agent, even though maybe they can surveil with demotion, it can't block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. So basically it's going to put it on attacking duty, which is going to allow us to hopefully clear the board up and get some of these tokens going with Marshall. Okay, but it's going to go for Mission Briefing, Surveil 2, and they get to cast something out of their graveyard. With them going for Mission Briefing, that's going to leave them open on 1, 2, 3, 4 total mana, which is basically going to keep them off Hypothesizal. They can end up going for Dazzling Lights if they want to. That's just going to be a 1 mana spell. Basically just -3, just kind of temporary effect, but they'll get that extra Surveil. It just really kind of depends on if they have any sort of, actually, yeah, it looks like they will. See if they can make the land drop, though, because they need 5 mana to get that going. Okay, so we have Darkblade Agent's going to deal 2 damage to us, and they're going to be able to draw a card. And then we draw into Hammer Dropper. Yeah, we need to start swinging, so let's get Luminous Bonds going on Pass Wall Adept. Let's go all attack. That's going to give us a 1/1 White Soldier token and really kind of help us get some Convoke going. And then next turn we'll be able to go for, we do have Boros Guildgate, so we can actually get down Garrison Sergeant, and that's going to be a 3/3 with double strike, so also allowing us to kind of push past that Drake too. And thankfully with the Drake on the battlefield, with us sitting at a 1/2, a 2/2, that kind of puts us in a position where we don't want to swing it with Marshall because they can just block with the Drake. But at least we can still kind of, get in a position to where hopefully we get enough creatures we can kind of swarm our opponent out. Okay, so we do have Darkblade Agent swinging in. They have not surveilled this turn. Yeah, that's fine. We're not going to issue any blockers. Let's swing in for 2. Okay, then we draw, ooh, very nice. Integrity and the Intervention. So target creature, 3 damage to any target, and you gain 3 life. I think our best bet, to be honest, is to take out that Drake. Yeah, I like that a lot. All right, so it's going to go for Intervention. Actually, I'm not entirely sure how to do split cards. Yeah, okay, there we go. Intervention. All right, so we're going to cast Intervention on Drake. That's going to be 3 damage being dealt to the Drake. Unless they have some sort of counter magic, they do have 3 cards in the hand, so it is entirely possible they do. Oh, bummer. So they have Devious Cover-Up. Counter target spell. It was counter exile it and then shuffle 4 target cards into your graveyard, into your library. Okay, that is a big bummer. Like I mentioned, we can still swing in with the District Guide and Generous Stray. That way we can still at least get a little bit of damage going on our opponent. And then not going to swing with the Marshal. So we're going to swing it with 2 attackers. And then we'll start worrying about getting down Hammer Dropper and Garrison Sergeant to kind of start pushing past that Drake. Yeah, they could have been sitting on a counter spell and they did have it, but I liked going for that particular line of play because if we get the Drake taken care of, then it allows us to swing out the entire board and we get an additional soldier token on the battlefield. Okay, so we have Drake swing in for 1. That's going to knock us down to 14. And we do draw into Siege Worm, which does have Trample. Now, it was interesting that they decided to swing in with Drake, and it can't block. So we're sitting at a 1/3 with the Pass Wall Adept, and that also can't attack or block. And they're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 5 total mana. I just find it interesting that they swung in with Drake instead of the Darkblade Agent. Yeah, man, if they've got something, they've got it. Let's go and push in, because either way, they can't block with any of our creatures. In the worst case scenario, if something does happen, we still have at least a soldier token on the battlefield. Okay, so we knocked them down to 10, and that gives us an additional token. Let's go and go for the Garrison Sergeant. because we can basically only combo. This can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll be one away from Siege Worm. Let's go to get down Garrison Sergeant. This is going to be a double strike. It might have been a little bit of a misplay by our opponent or something. They ended up going for the activation off of Pass Wall Adept, so I think they might have needed to swing with Darkblade Agent. Deals 1 damage, each opponent discards a card, then puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. You gain 1 life. I guess at this point right now, we're just going to get rid of Hammer Dropper, because with Siege Worm having that trample, ooh, Direct Current, I like that. Okay, so Direct Current's going to allow us to jumpstart that out of the graveyard for 2 damage. We'll see how we want to sequence this, but at least we'll be able to get Direct Current. It is sorcery speed, but as far as next turn goes, if they don't swing in the Drake, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, Post's going to scoop it up on this one, so we're going to take game 2. Very nice. I'll take it. It's nice to get on the board with the win. I didn't want to start. It's always a bummer to start off with a loss and then not be able to do good. And then you're worried, I'm just going to lose the rest of them out from here. Okay, so we got our tokens, and then I'm going to go and see you in game 3. Welcome to game 3. So we're fresh off a win. Hopefully we end up with a pretty good win off this and see what we're playing against. As far as opening hand goes, we have Direct Current, double white sources with Healer's Hawk, Garrison Sergeant. I'm going to keep on. Yeah, we're going to keep on this. Opponent's going first, Healer's Hawk, then hopefully hit another red source for Direct Current, and then Garrison. I'm tempted to mulligan, but don't really. Yeah, we're going to keep on this one. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us, but we'll keep on this. It's going to lead off with Healer's Hawk. Hopefully get some stuff going. All right, so it's going to lead off with Plains. Let's get down Healer's Hawk, and then we'll pass the turn to our opponent. And then we draw into Mountain. Beautiful, drawn to Mountain. Let's go and get down Mountain. Let's go and swing across for 1 with Healer's Hawk. And then anything else? No, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So with us having Direct Current in the hand, we do have Mountain. So that's going to at least allow us to, let's say that our opponent does get down some sort of creature, utility creature. We playing against another Grixis deck. One of the things that I found is that pretty much black, blue, splashing anything is really nice. And then different information came in whenever you surveil, return it to its hand so they can recast it. Let's discard a card. I guess at this point we'll go and get rid of the... It'd be nice to hold on to the Centaur, but if we don't hit green, at least we can cast everything else out of our hand. Let's go and get down Mountain. Let's go and swing across for 1 with the Hawk. We're in a really good position. We have a 19-turn clock established. Our opponent's not going to know what to do now. Knock them down to 18. And then do we want to go for Direct Current? Let's just go and hold on to it at this point right now. We're going to kick it over to our opponent and see what sort of board state they could develop before we start kind of just sending some burn damage up top. Draw to another Plains. Let's go get down Plains. Let's go and swing into combat. And not that it's huge difference in life game, but you know, getting in for some damage with Healer's Hawk and getting some lifelink and going to 23, sometimes it can make a difference in the late game. Yeah, let's just go and pass the turn. So we do have the Plains for next turn. That's going to put us online for Garrison Sergeant. And unfortunately, we don't have the Guildgate for that double strike. Unexplained Disappearance. Okay, so we're going to get Hawk back to our hand, and then we'll see what sort of stuff they get going for next turn. Now, with them casting that Unexplained Disappearance and getting that Surveil, that caused the campaign to go back to their hand, so we will have to discard another card. But at this point right now, since we're not really seeing any stuff from our opponent, let's go and get rid of Righteous Blow. At least with Demotion, that's going to allow us to kind of free the board up for us to swing across. Let's go and get down Mountain. Let's go and go for Garrison Sergeant. And then we'll go and pass the turn. I love the art on this. He looks pretty goofy. And I've always loved the Viashinos, however you say their name. They've always been an interesting tribe in Magic. Okay, so that will be Surveil off the Dimir Informant. Surveil 2, bouncing that back to their hand. That'll be a good option for us to go with Demotion onto Dimir Informant. And if we get lucky, fingers crossed, we can go for that, get down a Guildgate and give us double strike. And that'll really help us get a pretty good clock going on our opponent. But you can see how good Surveil is. I'm just still so happy that they gave Dimir a really cool ability this go around in Magic. Drawn to Temple Garden. All right, so we do hit at least our green source. Let's go ahead and go for Demotion on Dimir Informant. Let's go and swing in with Garrison Sergeant. Let's go get down Healer Hawk. And then we'll go get down Temple Garden. Yeah, we'll just go and have it come into play tapped. I think we're okay on this one. Enters the battlefield tapped, and then anything else, we're going to kick it back over to our opponent. So, I did get excited. I thought the Temple Garden was going to be a Guild Gate, but unfortunately, I'll still take a Temple Garden since we do have green stuff in here. It's always nice to have access to all of your colors. Now, one thing that did hit off of the Surveil, off this Dimir Informant, to my knowledge, is, yeah, they did hit a direct current. So that's going to at least allow them to deal 2 damage to Healer's Hawk if they want to. That's something that they can take care of. But at least with them, you know, having to use an entire direct current on a Healer's Hawk, I'll definitely take that. And also allow us to kind of get in for 4, put them down to 10, and then start to go for this direct current as we deal that damage to them. Our opponent's going to go for Discovery, Surveil 2, then draw a card. And then that Narcomoeba, it's actually going to enter the battlefield from that Surveil 2, so they'll at least get that going. It's a pretty cool interaction with Surveil. Alright, so we draw into Goblin Caretaker. So we get down Goblin Caretaker. Either way, we're not going to be able to cast Direct Current for Jumpstart. So we get that down 2 damage to Narcomoeba, swing in for Hawk, and then we can still go for Direct Current. Yeah, I think I like that. So it's going to get down Crater Maker. I keep calling him Caretaker. I don't know why. Let's go for the 1 mana activation off Crater Maker. Choose Narcomoeba. Let's go for Direct Current, and we're going to target our opponent. Knock them down to 10. Let's go to combat. It's going to knock them all the way down to 6, and then anything else we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. So we're going to go and hold on to Plains at this point right now. We're sitting at basically about 6 mana, and we don't really need a ton of mana for this deck. So we're going to hold on to Plains. That way we can at least kind of go for the Direct Current Jumpstart out of the back. Now, we're still online for some pretty good draws. If we draw into one of our Guild Gates, that's going to give Garrison double strike. If we do draw into Risk Factor, that's going to put some pressure on our opponents where we can draw 3 cards instead of them taking 4 life. They do have a ton of cards in the hand, so we'll see if they're going to get down at this point right now. In fact, if they wanted to, alright, so they're going to have Beacon Bolt. It's going to take care of our Sergeant. And then another thing is if they get down Disinformation Campaign, one thing that they could do is make us discard the Plains out of our hand. So that's definitely a line of play they can go for. Alright, they will go for Direct Current, taking care of our bird. Drawn to Prey Upon, which is a little late to the party. Now, if we go for Direct Current, discarding Plains, that's going to be 2 damage, puts them down to 4. I wonder if we should do that, because I'm just worried about the Disinformation Campaign. Yeah, and then if we have to get rid of Prey Upon, that's fine. We don't really have a creature on the battlefield at this point right now. So, yeah, let's do that. Let's go and go for Plains. Let's go for Direct Current. And we're going to target our opponent. Discard Prey Upon. Going to knock them down to 4, and then we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are sitting at 7 mana, so that's pretty much going to be every single creature in our deck. So hopefully we can kind of get some good stuff going. If we can somehow get Amara on the battlefield and get her tapped, that's going to allow us to kind of rebuild our board state. And the good thing about Disinformation Campaign is we emptied our entire hand. They still get a card draw, but we don't have to discard any cards at this point right now. Okay, that's going to knock us down to 22, and then we draw, there we go, drawn to Siege Worm. Unfortunately, we're out of green mana, and if they get a Surveil going, it's going to be 1, 6, yeah, we have 7 mana, but it's going to be double green to get that down. So yeah, unfortunately, we're just going to have to pass the turn to our opponent. Hopefully, if we draw into a green creature, we can get that on the battlefield, and that'll give us an additional Convoke. Oh, we got Niv Mizzet entering the battlefield. That is pretty cool. But that is going to be... It's going to be hard, especially if they got some pretty good card advantage going. They might be able to kind of stabilize at 4 off of this one, unfortunately. But the only way we can do is if we draw into Luminous Bond... Not Luminous Bonds. If we draw into the enchantment. What is it? We have another enchantment in here that's going to lock a creature up, so that's about our only way to kind of deal with Niv Mizzet. It's going to get down Blade Instructor, get it down, and then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, unfortunately, they're going to be able to deal that 1 damage to Blade Instructor. We'll see if they target us, but at least we're going to force some of that damage on some of our creatures. Even if we hold on to it, that entire deck is set up around Surveil. They've got more than enough mana to recast Disinformation again, so we're just basically kind of in a bad position, even if we hold on to the card to try to get out, to kind of dodge that 1 damage being dealt from Niv. Okay, they will knock us down to 13. And let's say we draw into plains. So we get down plains, that's going to be another 7, 8. It's going to knock us down to 5. We'll still go and make the land drop. Well, actually, at this point, we'll just go and hold on to plains. That way, if they do go for the disinformation again, we can at least hold on to siege worm. But with that being a flyer, it's not looking so hot. So let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. Oh, that is brutal with the locket. That works out really nice with Niv Mizzet. So, yeah, Niv Mizzet. And in fact, if you're coming across this arena video and you don't really play Commander, I've played Niv Mizzet in Commander, and he's an absolute blast to play. I mean, it is just very, very, really fun Commander. We are looking at least 7, 8 damage from our opponent. That will put us down to 2, excuse me. And do they have a jump start out of the graveyard for any damage? It does not look like that. They do have Duplicate. That's something that they can get going, and then Bolt to target creature. Yeah, this is basically going to be a creature. So see what else they kind of show for it. But that's going to be additional card draw. And then we'll get down Disinformation Campaign, discarding card. Let's go and get rid of plains at this point. But yeah, it looks like they're going to get it on this one. So definitely a good game to our opponents. Yeah, because that's going to put us down to 8, and that should be exactly lethal now that I think about it. Yeah, that's going to be lethal. So good game. They got it on this one. Man, you got Niv Mizzet. That is definitely a game changer. Unfortunately, they were sitting at 4. We got them all the way down to 4, but we could not stabilize, or at least our opponent stabilized at 4, and we could not close it out. So anyway, see you in the next game.